Title: The Power of Embracing Solitude, Stoic Principles for Personal Renewal and Freedom. Being alone is not just about solitude. It is about discovering a fortress of peace that many never find. Every interaction, every choice, and every moment carries energy. Some lift us up, while others weigh us down. Understanding this is crucial, because clinging to what no longer serves us can cloud our path to new beginnings. Stoicism teaches us a powerful lesson about the art of detachment. It is not merely about letting go. It is about opening ourselves to the fresh air of possibilities. When we release the burdens of the past, we make space for the new, allowing our lives to align more closely with our true potential. Today, we delve deep into how embracing solitude can be your greatest strategy for personal renewal and freedom. Join me as we explore not just the philosophy of letting go, but how implementing these Stoic principles can transform the ordinary into extraordinary. We will unpack the tools you need to clear out the old and welcome the new, promising a journey of self-discovery that could change the way you think about every relationship and situation in your life. Stay tuned as we learn to navigate life's challenges not just with resilience, but with a profound sense of peace and purpose. Before we start, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. It helps us a lot and costs nothing to you. Let's go. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, often spoke about the importance of retreating into oneself by withdrawing from the noise around us. We are able to listen more closely to our inner voice. This isn't about isolation, but about finding clarity in these quiet moments. We can reflect on our values, actions, and interactions. This process of taking time apart also allows us to question our impulses and desires. Stoics teach us to distinguish between what we can control and what we can't. In solitude, we can examine our reactions and emotions, stripping them down to understand their origins. Why do we feel what we feel? How much of our discontent is shaped by external circumstances versus our own internal dialogue? Taking time apart helps us recharge, just as we allow our bodies to rest after physical exertion. Our minds, too, need rest from the constant bombardment of stimuli and social interactions. It is in these moments of detachment that we often find bursts of insight and creativity. Our minds weave together new ideas and solutions that seemed elusive in the hustle of everyday life. Epictetus urges us to keep our desires in check, to maintain freedom and tranquility. He advocates for a life where we are not slaves to our desires. By asking ourselves whether something is a need or a want, we engage in a practice of self-reflection that helps us stay aligned with our core values. This doesn't mean denying all our wants, but it involves making conscious choices that ensure our wants don't overshadow our needs. Practicing this distinction helps reduce the clutter in our lives, not just physically, but also mentally. When we chase fewer wants, we often find more space, time, and energy for the things that genuinely matter. It leads to a simpler, more focused life, where satisfaction doesn't come from the next purchase or acquisition, but from a deep appreciation for what we already have. By appreciating what we have and recognizing the difference between surplus and necessity, we cultivate a state of contentment that is impervious to the ebb and flow of external circumstances. We become more resilient, less reactive, and more present in our daily lives. In Stoic philosophy, being rational means examining facts before reacting, evaluating the true nature of each situation, and making decisions based on sound reasoning rather than impulsive feelings. Seneca, a renowned Stoic philosopher, often discusses the importance of controlling one's reactions to external events. He believed that while we can't control what happens to us, we can control how we respond, and that's where rational thinking comes in. By being strictly rational, we challenge ourselves to look beyond the immediate emotional responses. For example, if a relationship or job isn't bringing you the satisfaction or results you hoped for, a Stoic approach would be to step back and analyze why. What are the tangible benefits versus the drawbacks? Is there a mismatch between your core values and what the situation is offering? By answering these questions through rational analysis, you can make more informed choices about whether to persevere, adjust your approach, or let go. Rational thinking helps us manage our expectations. Often we become upset not because of the situation itself, but because it didn't meet our preconceived expectations. By setting realistic expectations based on rational assessments, we can avoid many of life's disappointments and frustrations. Change surrounds us constantly. Seasons shift, relationships evolve, and careers transition. The Stoics understood that resisting these natural progressions can lead to unnecessary pain and suffering. Instead, they advocate for embracing change, seeing it as an opportunity for personal growth and renewed perspective. When we talk about accepting change, we're delving into the Stoic practice of focusing only on what we can control. This includes our thoughts, behaviors, and responses to the changes happening around us. For instance, you might not be able to prevent a company restructuring that affects your job, but you can control how you respond to it, whether that means seeking new opportunities or adapting your skills to fit new roles. This shift in focus from external circumstances to internal responses is at the heart of Stoic resilience. By reducing our attachments to things that are inherently transient, like our current job status or even certain types of relationships, we safeguard our inner peace from the upheaval of external changes. This doesn't mean we don't care about these aspects of our lives, but rather that we hold them lightly, ready to adapt as circumstances evolve. This mindset helps us live more fully in the present, appreciating each moment and connection for what it is now, not what it used to be or what we fear it might become. This approach entails zeroing in on what is truly necessary for your well-being and fulfillment, such as your mental and physical health and your most significant relationships. By doing this, you're not just simplifying your life, you're aligning it more closely with your core values, which is a fundamental Stoic goal. For mental health, this could involve practices like meditation, regular self-reflection, and engaging in meaningful activities that nurture a sense of purpose. For physical health, it might mean choosing activities and diets that not only keep you fit, but also keep you feeling balanced and energized. And when it comes to relationships, focusing on essential needs means investing time and energy into connections that are supportive, enriching, and reciprocal. When you clear the clutter of less critical needs, you're not just making room physically or financially, you're making space mentally and emotionally. This decluttering allows for a clearer vision of what is genuinely important. It helps you make decisions more aligned with your personal philosophy and lifestyle goals. Understanding that nothing is permanent can radically change how we approach our daily lives. For instance, when we experience moments of joy, recognizing their impermanence allows us to appreciate them more deeply, without the pressure of trying to make them last forever. Conversely, when we encounter difficulties or pain, the same knowledge can offer comfort and perspective, reminding us that this too shall pass. This practice of recognizing impermanence also aids in the process of detachment. Detachment, in the Stoic sense, does not mean disengaging from the world or our responsibilities. Rather, it involves understanding that our control is limited to our own actions and reactions, not the external outcomes or the behavior of others. This awareness helps us maintain our equilibrium in the face of life's inevitable changes and losses. Embracing impermanence cultivates resilience. When we accept that change is the only constant, we are less likely to be overwhelmed by it. Instead, we can adapt more quickly, moving forward with a clear mind and an open heart. It teaches us to build our inner resources, like our character and virtue, rather than over-investing in external achievements that could fade or disappear. Stepping out of your comfort zone can be daunting, but incredibly rewarding. Each new skill you learn, each new person you meet, enriches your life in ways that staying within the familiar never could. This process of seeking and embracing new experiences helps to reshape how we view our problems and our attachments. When you're exposed to different ways of living and thinking, your own issues might not seem so insurmountable. Perhaps a problem you thought was unique to you is a common struggle, or maybe you discover new solutions that you hadn't considered before. This broader viewpoint can lead to a significant reduction in the stress and anxiety associated with clinging too tightly to the familiar. Engaging in new experiences actively combats the stagnation that can come from too much routine. It invigorates the mind and spirit, injecting a sense of adventure and curiosity into life. Stoicism encourages us not to fear the unknown, but to approach it with courage and a willingness to learn. Each new experience is a chance to test ourselves, to practice virtues like courage, temperance, and wisdom in real time. Imagine taking a few minutes at the end of each day to think back on your actions, thoughts, and feelings. This can be done in a variety of ways, depending on what resonates most with you. Some find meditation helpful, a quiet, introspective time to turn the mind inward and critically assess one's thoughts and behaviors. Others might prefer journaling, writing down what happened throughout the day, how they felt, and how they responded to various situations. This written record can be incredibly valuable as it provides a tangible way to track progress over time. Stoic reflection is about more than just personal efficiency or success. It's about moral and ethical growth. It keeps you aligned with your true path by shedding the non-essential, the trivial distractions, or petty concerns that can so often take up mental space. It helps you focus on what truly matters, your values, your character, and your impact on the world around you. This kind of reflection fosters a profound sense of self-awareness and accountability. It's a daily reminder that your path is yours to shape. As Epictetus once said, "No person has the power to have everything they want, but it is in their power not to want what they don't have and to cheerfully put to good use what they do have." Reflecting daily helps you not only understand and accept your limitations, but also recognize and utilize your strengths more effectively. Understanding what constitutes an unhealthy attachment is the first step toward liberating oneself. These attachments can come in many forms: relationships that have become toxic, habits that harm rather than help us, aspirations that lead to undue stress, or even material possessions that burden rather than free us. Often, these attachments persist simply because they are familiar, known quantities in our lives, and even when detrimental, they can be comforting in their predictability. To identify these unhealthy attachments, we must first be willing to look honestly and critically at our lives. This might involve reflecting on which aspects of your life cause you anxiety or sadness, which relationships consistently leave you feeling drained rather than energized, or what personal ambitions cause you more stress than fulfillment. It's about asking yourself tough questions. Does this enhance my life and align with my values? Is the emotional or physical cost worth the benefit I'm receiving? Am I holding on to this simply because I'm used to it? Once we acknowledge these unhealthy attachments, Stoicism provides a framework for dealing with them effectively, focusing on the principle of not letting external forces disturb our inner peace. This involves a rational evaluation of each attachment's true worth and the role it plays in our lives. By adopting a more detached perspective, we can see the difference between what we are clinging to out of habit and what genuinely contributes to our well-being and growth. Letting go of these attachments does not happen overnight. It requires practice, patience, and perseverance. It may involve setting new boundaries in relationships, changing long-standing behavioral patterns, or reassessing life goals. Each step in this process is an exercise in Stoic virtue, building your strength of character and your ability to act according to reason rather than impulse. This doesn't mean abandoning all ambition or aspirations. Rather, it's about discerning what truly matters and directing our efforts toward those pursuits. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of focusing on what is within our control, and our desires are no exception. When we set limits on our desires, we free ourselves from the constant cycle of craving and consumption. We learn to appreciate the abundance that surrounds us, the love of friends and family, the beauty of nature, the simple pleasures of everyday life, rather than fixating on what we lack. This shift in perspective aligns with Stoic teachings on gratitude and acceptance, reminding us to find joy in the present moment rather than constantly striving for more. Setting limits on our desires fosters a sense of inner peace and tranquility. Instead of being driven by an insatiable hunger for external validation or material possessions, we cultivate a sense of self-sufficiency and resilience.